Okay, so this is part two. I have to go. I ain't got time because I can't share this thing on Bigo. I have to go and share this on my page. Um, Let me share this inside of this notary group real quick. Notary. There we go. There we go. Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, let me see real quick. Okay. So, uh-oh. So, like I was saying before Facebook wanted to, do their thing, as a notary in an attorney state, you cannot do what those in non-attorney states can do. When this thing first started in 2020 for me, you know, it was really booming even in an attorney state because because the banks were shut down. So because the banks were shut down, people had to go to mobile notaries, and I charged a admin fee. I charged a convenience fee. And of course you have to let them know what you're charging. Um because in Georgia you can only charge $2 to be a notary. So if you can only charge $2 to be a notary, all of those people who talk making those extravagant claims about being having six figures, not with no $2. So you have to be strategic about how you price your services. Notary to me, and this is how I made my business, it's an add-on. This is just something else that I can do with my other services. And I learned that a long time ago because me being a notary, I was introduced to this because I was a real estate agent. And and actually I was getting my license to become a real estate agent. But then I learned about being a notary, and then I learned about being a wedding officiant, which was ching ching for me. And then I learned about being an immigration assistance provider. And that is what they call it in Georgia. I'm teaching y'all this because apparently the people in the group don't know. They didn't know about it, and that's okay. But you don't want to knock what you ain't never tried, and don't say something is illegal that you know nothing about. Do your research about it first before you start speaking about it. And it could also be something that can be lucrative for you, especially people who are multilingual and bilingual. If that now that being multilingual, being bilingual, now that is, first of all, that skill is great within itself, but actually helping them, like you're that go-to person. You speak their language and they need help. This is something that you can add to your or under your notary umbrella. And I learned about this because I was a notary, and I'm going to extend that opportunity to other people. Now, before I get into where you can get some really great training from, you don't need this training either, but you need to know about the forms. And you can obviously study the forms on your own. But I'm just going to do this little slideshow real quick. Hopefully y'all can see this, but becoming a licensed immigration assistance provider, that is what it is called in the state of Georgia. Now, when you look on the NNA website, and I'm going to show y'all that shortly, it is called an immigration form specialist. So there are eligibility requirements. It doesn't mean you have to be a lawyer. That ain't one of the requirements. One of the requirements is you must be at least 18 years old. You must be a U.S. citizen or have legal immigration status, and you can have no criminal convictions. Um, and y'all see the rest. Okay, the application process. So this is the process for Georgia. You're going to have to figure out what the process is somewhere else. You're going to need to complete the application from the Georgia Secretary of State. I'm going to show y'all what that looks like. You're going to have to obtain a $5,000 performance bond from a licensed bonding company. And I think that's going to be about 500, not 500, I'm sorry, but $100. And then you're going to have to consent to a criminal background check, and you're going to have to pay the application fee. It's $40. And yeah, the annual renewal fee is $25. That's pretty cheap to get into this business. And I'm gonna show y'all what that looks like when we get to that part. But the permissible service, you can, it says complete government agency forms on behalf of clients, transcribe responses to immigration related forms. Like it says right there, no advice. Why? Because you're not an attorney, unless you are an attorney. If you're an attorney, then you don't even have to do this at all. This is for non attorneys. And then translate information and responses on the forms, secure supporting documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, arrange photos, fingerprint, and medical testing. And speaking of fingerprinting, that's also something that I learned about being a notary. Um, I learned about so much just by being a notary. Legal restrictions, no legal advice, and no representation in legal proceedings unless you are a licensed attorney. And like I said, if you're a licensed attorney, most likely you're not going to really be doing this, not as an immigration assistance provider. And so we're going to go to the additional resources about the bond information. Um, oh, I wish I could. Let me mute this real quick. Thank you all for your patience. But anywho, I'm glad on what you call that, YouTube. You can take that out. But anyway, so I think that was the last slide. So what I'm about to do right now, I'm going to show you what the NNA has on their website. And this is how I found out about this. So right here, you see, what is an immigration farm specialist? And why am I going through this with you? Because apparently, people thought that you couldn't do this. As a notary, maybe you cannot, right? But it's very simple to become an immigration form specialist. Let's look at this real quick. Simply put, an immigration form specialist is someone who helps people complete immigration forms to enter and live in the United States. Simply put, that's what we do. We help people complete immigration forms. That's it. It says there are many USCIS forms, and I'm gonna take you to that website shortly after. I gotta write it down because I might forget. I might forget. So I gotta write that down. What is it called? Go to USCIS. Okay. It says immigrants need help with like the I-485 to become a permanent resident or a card holder, and the N-400 application for U.S. citizenship. So green card holder and U.S. citizenship is, that's something that you would want to do. It says to fill out these official forms correctly requires English language fluency. Strong attention to detail is needed to prepare the submission packages to meet the requirements of the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services. Do you plan to be an immigration form specialist to help people with their no, it says, do you have to be, I'm sorry, do you have to be an immigration form specialist to help people with their immigration forms? It says right here on the NNA website, no. Anyone with the know-how may provide limited help with immigration forms. However, there may be state rules and requirements that you must observe. So you're always going to have to look at your own state for what you can do in your state. Other names for immigration form specialists. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit. In California, it's called an immigration consultant. In Georgia, it's called an immigration assistance provider. In Illinois, immigration assistance service provider. In Maryland, immigration consultant. In Michigan, immigration clerical assistant. Um, in Minnesota, immigration assistance provider. In Nevada, document preparation services provider. In New York, immigration assistance provider. And in Utah, immigration consultant. So, what immigration form specialists can and can't do. The immigration service, I'm sorry, the primary service of an immigration form specialist provides is helping people complete immigration forms and prepare packages for submission to the USCIS. To fill out a person's immigration documents thoroughly, an IFS, which is an immigration form specialist, may perform additional services. And so we're going to click on all these little links just so that y'all can know what you can and cannot do. These services may include translating the applicant's answers to questions on the forms and collecting required support documents such as birth certificates. An immigration form specialist is not allowed to perform services that an attorney or accredited representative would provide, such as explaining immigration options, giving advice about which immigration forms to use, or representing a client at an immigration hearing. And then it says other categories of immigration service providers. The assistance immigrants need differs from person to person and family to family. To support the various needs, there are three types of people who can help: immigration form specialists, accredited representatives, and they're called ARs. I heard they can make a lot of money. But anyway, licensed attorneys, federal and state. Uh one moment, please. About to stop sharing real quick. I'll be back. I'm sorry. People have to do stuff at strange hours. But anyway, so let me see what we're going to look at next. Um, we're going to go to the Board of Immigration Assistance Providers website. Okay. So y'all see this when you watch it. Okay, so you see this, right? This is on the sos.ga.gov. Okay. So what you're going to do is go to licensure. Hopefully you can see this. And why I'm saying this is because people saying you cannot do stuff that you can do and you're missing out on opportunities to make extra income. Licensure. Here is a how-to guide. If you would like to apply as an immigration assistance provider entity, it is required that you file with the Secretary of State and renew annually. It didn't say it's required that you be a lawyer. Okay. It's required that you apply. So it says go to page. Let's go to page. What is it? Uh-uh. Here, go. It's time for bed. Um, I didn't want to go to bed when I was young either. But anyway, it says how to apply, right? Here it is. This is on, once again, this is on the sos.ga.gov website. Give me one moment. Anyway, my bad. But let us see right here. So we are zooming in on this. Secretary of State website says if you would like to apply as an immigration assistance provider entity, it is required that you file with the Secretary of State and renew annually. Review the requirements in the step-by-step guide below. Licensure requires completing an application. It's very easy. Get it signed and notarized and pay the required fee. And obviously, you cannot notarize your own document. It says see specific instructions for application depending on license and application type. You must submit all the required documentation and fees to be considered for licensure. Renewal is completed online and is required by August 31st annually. Late renewal period is blah, blah, blah. So really it is only like a total of $140 to do that. It even tells you after you apply what to expect. Okay, so let's look at that. After you apply, what to expect. Processing times. Applications are processed in the order in which they are received. If you receive a deficiency letter, please submit all requested items at one time as soon as possible to prevent processing delays. Please note incomplete applications may be withdrawn if noted, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you can read all of this for yourself on the Secretary of State website. But this right here was simply to let you know that this is options that you might have depending on the state that you are in. It's easy to get started, especially in Georgia. One thing I will tell you about what I had experienced, and if you're not ready for it, don't do it. What I'm gonna say is you ain't gonna know if you're ready for it until sometimes you try, or if you listen to what other people have to say about it. And the thing is, people, depending on what you call your business, people called me for all types of stuff. They was trying to call me for ICE, like they was trying to report immigrants, like illegal immigrants, to me. And they were trying to like get things from me that I was not able to do. I'm sorry, excuse me. There was a lot of people who were frustrated. You got to understand, people who are looking for your services, they're very frustrated. They are trying to gain legal access. Um and not just legal. They're trying to be here legally. Gain legal access to your country. They need help. They don't speak the national language. Most of them do not. They know how to speak their national language, but they don't know how to. They're foreigners. So the thing is, that's why I was saying, if you are multilingual or bilingual, then this is something that you might do very well in. If you don't really like filling out forms, then of course you can partner with someone who does. Yeah, if you like filling out forms, you can do this. You just have to build a team. Build a team of translators, and that way y'all can split the proceeds as how it is fair, or the way it might be fair, right? So you might be in a partnership with an attorney. Okay. And then with that attorney, um, they might be willing to give you a referral fee for everyone that you send to them and who they can actually assist. Right. And then you might partner with someone who is able to translate that, whatever in that language. You might give them something. But the thing is, it's all about partnership, and it's about knowing what you are allowed to do so you can take advantage of these opportunities that are right here for you. Listen, many people are trying to gain citizenship. They're trying to uh gain a green card. They're trying to be here legally without having to be deported. So it's not like you're an attorney. I mean, unless you are. This is obviously not for attorneys, but people who are immigrants, they need, and they're trying to have legal access in the country, they need to build a team. They're wanting to build a team of people who can really help them, get what they need. And sometimes they cannot afford an attorney. So one thing that they might be able to afford is a immigration form specialist and a translator. And so a translator, they can't necessarily say this is what this form means, but they can read the form to them. They can read the forms to them. They can talk between, they can be the mediator between, the client and the specialist. So anyway, I hope this helped you. I wasn't able to make it all cute like I usually do. I got up a lot during this because I had children to tend to. But yeah, if you got any more questions, I got to update the chat. I'm sorry, not the chat, but I got to update the description of how you can get in touch with me if you are interested in doing this. I would say just email me. Y'all know by now that my email is info@popupweddings.com. That is weddings with a Z. You know what? At first I thought that, actually, this is what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to share this screen and I'm about to go to my website. This is my website, okay? Here's my, listen, here's my number. My number is like plastered all over the internet, my business number. So I really don't care that you see this. Just don't like call and harass or anything like that. But um here's also the contact page of my website. Um and this is, see, this is for, this should, yeah, okay, at the end, because this is for people who, they insert their information for weddings. But at the end, it has my email and it has my phone number right there. Let me bring it up just in case you want to call. Okay, you see that? And so there we go. Let me see. That's all we have for tonight. And hopefully this was helpful. Until next time. And yeah, because I'm putting this in my notary group, but I see that, we gotta share the stuff, the information with the know-it-alls. But until next time, bye bye.